Hey guys, this is Rene. Welcome back for another video on this channel, and today I will teach you something, teach you some programming in the MetaTrader 5 again. And this is something that a lot of people requested lately, and I don't know why, but I want to talk or show you how to code a pyramid strategy. Pyramid is usually the term that you use in trading when you stack up positions in profit. Like we know the normal grid or martingale systems that usually add more and more positions or more volume into a position if it's a losing position, but this pyramid approach is pretty much the opposite, and here we stack up positions in profit. This should of course be less risky. If it's a good idea, I don't know. For some reason, I never really used this concept. But yeah, I mean, if you want it, I will, of course, I'm able to show you how it's done. So my idea for this strategy was to use a very, very simple approach. I will just work with the moving average indicator, and I will use two moving average indicators. I want to use a moving average indicator on a higher time frame, for example, the daily chart, and then another moving average on a smaller time frame, for example, the H1 or the M15, whatever. It's completely up to you. We will make this a input variable so it's flexible. And then I want to filter the overall trend direction with the indicator on the higher time frame. And on this higher time frame, this higher time frame will indicate the trend direction. Let's say, for example, here we do have a positive trend, like the moving average is going up on the higher time frames. So then we want to look at the smaller time frames, and if there is a uptrend, we then want to buy whenever the price hits or drops below the moving average on the small time frame. And for example, this is a good example. Let's assume this is a buy trend on a higher time frame. Then we would enter a position here. First buy position, price goes up, comes back down here. Second buy position, up, comes here. Third buy position, up, goes here. Fourth buy position. And then at some point, we have to close the position or whatever. But this is the overall idea. So let's jump into programming this strategy. So first of all, I want to open the MetaQuotes editor, create a new expert advisor, which I will call Pyramid Trading. And then let me create this program. I will delete the first lines and rearrange everything so I get my programs in the style that I like them. So first of all, of course, we will need the two moving averages. This is pretty straightforward. And again, I won't make this a I don't make this a beginner tutorial, because the last tutorial that I made was also a little bit more advanced and people seem to like it if I do not explain the absolute basics. And I think it kind of makes sense to not explain everything again every single time. So here I'm just creating the input variables for the higher time frame moving average and the lower time frame moving average. MA method. MA method, high, mode, SMA. So I will just use the default settings pretty much for a moving average when I create inputs, because the user is able to change this anyways. So I can just choose default values like this. And then here I will just do the same thing for the lower time frame, and also make the time frame for the lower time frame a input variable so the user is able to change this. And then let's initialize the handles. Shift value 0. applied price, and here for the second lower time frame moving average. Oh, I forgot the low here for the method. So this of course method high, this is method low, and then we have the MA applied price for the low moving average. Okay, so this is it. Yeah, let's create a group here. Group, we can say moving average settings like this, and input. Wait, undeclared identifier. What's the problem? Oh, that's the problem. I wrote this 2 times. Okay, now we're good. We can also create the like trade settings already, because we will need the lot size 0.1, and then here we can also create lots for the pyramids. Like we can say every additional position should have a smaller lot size. This would maybe make sense. And then also I think it makes sense to have a stop loss, like some calculation, just stop loss in percent maybe. And yeah, these are the most important inputs I think that we use. So then in the onTick function, it definitely makes sense. I think I will calculate everything based on the lower time frame. So let's create another input variable, global variable here, bars total for the lower time frame. And then here I will calculate the bars again for the lower time frame. MA time frame low. Or let's call this bars low. So here we check if we have a new bar in the lower time frame. And if we do have a new bar, then let's calculate the moving average values for the higher time frame and lower time frame. And we will just use the copy buffer function, of course. So copy buffer, handle MA high. Buffer number is the main line always for moving averages. Starting position count, MA high, like this. And then we have copy buffer, handle MA low. And MA low. And then we also need the close price for the last bar in the symbol time frame. So I close symbol, moving average time frame low for the last bar. Okay, this is okay, I would say. So let's check for the first position. Oh, and we also need to include the trade class here to open the positions easily. Yeah, I will just create a global trade object. And then here we can just check if the close price of the last bar is above the moving average. First of all, we check if it's above the higher moving average or below the higher time frame moving average. If it's above the higher, then we want to check if the close price of the last bar is in or below the lower moving average, because then we want to open the position. MA low. And here we can then execute a buy position with the lots. And if close 1 is greater than MA low. Okay, so this is for the first buy or sell position. So now what we also have to do is we have to check if there are open positions already, because then we choose a different lot size. We have to check if we already opened a position for this latest drop below the moving average, so we do not open too many positions. yeah, we could, I think it makes sense to use a loop here before we do all of this, where we just loop through the positions. And maybe it makes sense to work with the magic number here. So we can have multiple EAs or multiple, EAs work in the same account. And then we can select the EAs using the magic number. Select by index. So if we are able to select, we want to check if position symbol is not the chart symbol. In this case, we simply continue. And we also want to check if the position magic is unequal the magic number, then we also want to continue. But if we found a position with the chart symbol and the magic number of this EA, we assume that it's a position that was opened by this program. And then we can say something like we kind of have to find, like, we can say bool is position open. This is the easiest thing to do. We set this to true, right? And then here we could check if, not if position, but is position. If is position open, or if a position is not open, then we want to open with the lot size. Else we want to open with the lots pyramid. So this will make sure that we will open with the pyramid lot size if it's not the first position. Same for the sell positions, of course. Okay, like this. And now I also have to make sure that I do not open too many positions if the price stays below the moving average on the smaller time frame, because that's not what we want. So we have to make sure that we can find the last position, and then wait, how do we do this? And maybe I can show you what the problem is that I'm trying to fix here, or what I'm thinking about right now. So let's go to the strategy tester. Let's select the program. For gold, doesn't really matter. I can go to the 1 hour time frame. Let's just test for the last year. So I will show you what I coded so far here in the visual mode of the tester. Okay, so here we see the 1 hour chart. So let's see what happens if there's a signal. So here we can see price drops below the 1 hour moving average. And so here's the first position, because the candle closed below the 1 hour or the smaller time frame moving average, and also on the higher time frame we are above the moving average. So that's these are the criteria. And now if we see more bars open below the moving average on the small time frame, we always open a position, because we did not really write anything to stop this. So I thought about it, and it's actually not that hard to find a solution for this. Like, the easiest thing to fix this is, I think, to say that we also want the close price of the previous bar. And then we check if the last bar dropped below the moving average and the previous bar was below this moving average. And if we do it like this, I think we should also calculate the previous value for the moving average. So for the small time frame moving average, we now get 2 values. And if this is compiled and I do another test, we should see that now we do not see multiple positions. Okay, so here is the position open. This is the first one. So let's see what happens if we have more bars. Okay, it now opens less positions, but it's still not like super perfect, because here we can see that, of course, the price, if it's just somewhere near the moving average, it will still go up and down quite often in a short period of time. So it's maybe not exactly what we want, but this is also something we can fix. Like, for example, what we can say is that, I mean, we need to add something anyways, because we do not want to have too many positions on the same price level, I would say. So what I would say is that we can have, for example, some kind of buffer here between positions. So let's say there has to be a minimum distance of, for example, I don't know, 1,000 points between two positions. So what we can do is that we say we will create this buffer input int or double buffer percent 0.1, something like this. So what we can do here is we can say that, or here also we want to find the last position. Let's maybe work with the datetime variable here. Last position time, and then we will initialize this with 0, so we can just check if last position time is equal to 0. We want to open with the initial position size, and otherwise we will use the lots for the pyramid. And then we can say if position time is greater than last position time, then last position time is updated with the position time. So here we will always have the position open time of the last position, and then we also actually we don't really need the, do we need the time? What we need is the price, right? The price. Yeah, let's get the price. Last position price. No, let's use both variables. So let's create another variable, double last position price is equal to 0, and then here if we find the last position, we will also update the last position price with the position price. And then before we open more positions here, we want to check if the current price, the current price that we have to get first. So let's say double ask symbol info double symbol ask bit symbol info double symbol bit, and then we check for buy positions if the current ask price minus the last position price, and let's get the absolute value here, if it is greater than the ask price multiplied, or the last position price multiplied with the, how did I call this, buffer percent divided by 100. So this should make sure that we only open if there is a minimum distance between the positions. Buffer percent divided by 100. Okay, so let's test this again. There's a problem. Price open. Okay, so let's test this again and let's see how it looks now. Okay, so here's the first position. Let's see what happens if there are more positions. Okay, I think this is not working at all, because we immediately saw the next position. Or was there enough distance between these two Yeah, I think this was more than 0.1, right? Okay, so it is working so far. Let's see what happens if we see more signals. And there is the next signal soon, I think. There's another signal. There's another signal. Yeah, maybe I should have chosen a bigger distance or minimum distance between these positions. But yeah, so far it's kind of nice. Also, maybe what I just realized is that maybe we should add a condition so that we only open if the price is above the latest or the last price. So this is really easy. We can just add another condition here. Ask minus blah, blah, blah. Or we can just delete the math absolute here. Like this. Yeah, this makes sense, I think. So then we should only open more positions if the last position is more in profit. So okay, so let's just keep on using this test here. So let's see what happens if we are below the moving average, because right now the problem is kind of that we never really close the positions. It's not really perfect. So at some point the positions, of course, should be closed. And then also, if we turn around the overall trend here, or if we drop below the 1 hour or the higher time frame moving average, then of course we want to open positions in the other direction. So this is something we also have to take care of. So in the meantime, I switched to the 50 period moving average for the daily. So I have more sell signals. And here we can see exactly what the problem is, so to say. Buy positions are never closed. Then we see sell positions and they are also opened, and they are not opened with a higher lot size for the first position. So there are some issues. And my idea was that we also have to add the stop loss, then maybe some kind of trading stop mechanism. For sure, yeah. And then we also have to make sure that all of the positions are definitely closed if we see a counter signal, like from switching from buy to sell. And yeah, all of these kind of things. And maybe we can make it so that if there is a position, like the first position, then the next position, the pyramid position is open, then we will just take the stop loss of the first position and the second and put it at the open price of the first position. Maybe something like this. This would be a typical approach, I think, for pyramid systems. And yeah, this is something I will show you in the next tutorial. So for the first part, this is totally fine, I think. Let me show you the source code again so you can copy it if you didn't do it until now. So just include the trade class, bunch of input parameters for the positions, bunch of input parameters for the indicators, indicator handles, global variable to check if there's a new bar, trade object variable, indicator handle initialization, setting the magic number, and then here just checking for a new bar, calculating all the price and indicator values. Then we have the loop to check for the last position, and then we just check if we have to open a new position. So this is what I have here currently, and in the next part we will add the trailing stop or the stop loss and the trailing stop.